All right, guys. It's that time. The countdown starts now. We have 30 minutes until Jerome Powell takes the stage at the FOMC meeting and tells us if he's going to pump our bags or not. Let's see what happens. All right, guys. 38 of you, 43 of you guys, 50 of you guys tapping in already. The numbers just keep adding up. 60 now. Let's get it. This is live. We're going to see in 30 minutes, Jerome Powell let us know what's going to happen. In the meantime, I'm going to look at memes, everything, scouring the internet as I did this morning, looking at X. We have a ton of different things to go over, ton of different funny ass things that I've been seeing in regards to Jerome Powell. However, we also have news from Charles Hoskinson from Washington, D.C. on positive legislation that is being passed, discussions that are being held this morning. So we're going to take a look at everything before we get into covering this FOMC meeting that is going to go live in 29 minutes. So I appreciate you guys for tapping in. There's now close to 150 of you guys already. I've only been live for 30 seconds. This is crazy. Numbers are going to keep going up. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. If you haven't subbed to the channel already, make sure to do that for me. I would appreciate that. Let's get it. The train is leaving the station soon, guys. Whether we get a 25%, rate cut or a 50% rate cut, there's a lot to look at. Number one, we have our guy, Hard Hat Powell. Look at him. Good old Hard Hat Powell. Is he actually going to listen to Donald Trump today? Honestly, Polymarket says so. The odds say so. Everyone is assuming that Jerome Powell is going to cut rates. It only seems right. Only makes sense. Let's move over to here. Bank of Canada just cut rates by 25 basis points, 2.5, matching estimates. So does that mean the Fed is going to be doing the same thing? I don't know, guys. Decision coming at 2 p.m. Eastern. That's nowish. Powell speaking at 2:30. We'll see. We got 30 minutes until things happen. The most important day of our lives, people are saying, right? What else do we have? Let's just take a look at some funny memes in the meantime.
Good afternoon.
You guys are too much, man. Whoever thinks of this stuff, honestly. Andrew Tate walking. Me with $137 in my pocket waiting for the Fed to cut rate. The internet is undefeated, guys. Whoever thinks of these things, I don't know. The Fed, if they don't cut rates today, guys, whoever thinks of this, you guys are unmatched. Explosions if the Feds don't cut rates today. I don't even know what movie this is, chat. If you want to let me know what movie this is from, you guys are unmatched. Let's kick it back to Hard Hat Powell. It's a lot to discuss today, guys. I don't know where you guys get this stuff from, all right? But it's honestly hilarious, and you guys got me going. My parents in their 30s, let's buy a house. Me in my 30s, I need a 50 basis point cut. Let me know in the comments, guys. I've seen a lot of polls today. Are we going to get 25? Are we going to get 50? Or is Hard Hat Powell just going to screw us all and do absolutely nothing? It's all on the table. Everything is on the table. Nothing could happen today. That is for sure on the table still. However, 90 plus odds on Polymarket that's not going to happen. Most people think that we're going to see rates cut today at least 25. If we get 50, then, I mean, you got to lock in, because if we get a 50 basis point cut, I think we are going to see insane price action. I really do genuinely think that. We could really see insane price action if things are cut by at least 50 today. If 25, maybe, I don't know. People are saying that the 25% basis, cut is already pretty much, the market already priced it in. We saw some interesting things happen in the markets already this week. Been a little tumultuous, been a little up and down. Why don't we actually just kick it here real quick. Whoops. Let's go here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second here, guys. And we're going to put something else up on the screen. We're going to go kick it over to Coinbase. What have the markets been doing, guys? Bitcoin's a little bit down on the day. ETH is a little bit up on the day. XRP is doing all right. BNB still at that all-time high. A lot going on right now. Markets are a little up and down. ADA is up a little bit. Hyperliquid's up a little bit. Chainlink, Sui, Avalanche a little bit down. Avalanche just poached a Solana veteran who left Solana to go work for Ava Labs. That's very interesting in my opinion. Not to say that Solana's, going to crash or do bad or anything like that, but that's interesting. Something to keep your eye on. Wonder who that gentleman is. But guys, if you look at what's been going on in the market this week, let's take a look at Bitcoin. In the past week, we're up 2% on the week. Okay, great. What's Ethereum doing on the week? We're up 3% on the week. Okay, great. Nothing too crazy. What's XRP doing? We're up 1% on the week. Okay, great. So nothing too crazy. If we get 50 basis points cut today, that can change very dramatically. Very, very dramatically, guys. I don't know what you guys think. I don't know what you guys are anticipating. I encourage you to interact with me live right now in the chat. Guys, hit me up in the comments. Let's make this interactive. What do you think is going to happen today? Because this is what we've all been waiting for. Goldman Sachs thinks we're going to get 3 rate cuts this year, towards the end of the year, by the end of the year. JP Morgan also saying similar things. Plenty of other individuals also saying interesting things, right? So, chat, you guys got to let me know what you think here. Let's do this. Gonna put some other stuff up on the screen. This is the Wolf of all streets. Bitcoin is either going to 250 or 25K today based on how Jerome Powell sneezes or scratches his eyebrow. It's so true. I mean, traders, guys, you guys are the most hot button. It's like literally Jerome Powell sneezes and like people freak out. It's insane. Now let's just switch it back over to Polymarket. What is Polymarket saying?
Good afternoon.
Look at this, guys. 98%. He's going to say good afternoon. What will Powell say during December press conference? Right? This is in the past. Obviously, it's not December, guys. Santa's not here yet. All right, relax. Although we can use some of that magic to maybe pump our bags. Maybe I'll say to Santa, hey, big guy, give me a $5 ADA for Christmas and we'll be good. That would be nice. That would be very nice. We'll see what happens. But this is literally what's going on. You know, I've talked about it before. You can gamble. If you guys are in a comfortable position where you have some Ethereum or, I don't know, some USD sitting on the sideline and you want to make a little gamble, go on Polymarket. And if Jerome Powell enters with good afternoon, maybe you can make a quick buck. Again, never investment advice on this channel. We're just exploring everything that's out there. And that's what people do. Makes me laugh. I don't know if I'll ever do that. Could be an easy way to make a quick buck. Maybe not if he says good afternoon, but if he does cut the rates, Jerome Powell, that is, by 25 basis points, which is over 90% at this point, could be an easy way to make a quick buck. Now, I'm not telling you to go do that. Not investment advice. Do your own research. Take your own risk. But that's what's out there. You also have similar prediction gambling markets. Bodega, that's on Cardano. I'm sure there's going to be more to come on other chains. We'll see what happens. But yes, guys, even the White House. So White House advisor Navarro recommends the Fed to cut rates by 50 basis points today and another 50 at next meeting. If that happens, I mean, Altcoin Daily, I think, said recently, I can try to find that tweet for you guys, but Altcoin Daily said recently, I believe, you know, he thinks like most of the gains we're going to see within the next 3 months of this bull cycle, of the peak high. So let me find that tweet for you guys. I'm curious to see what you guys think about that. Do we have time? Do we have time left? How much time do we have left? Yeah, here we go. So let me just get this up on the screen here. Are we going to see 50% to 80% of this crypto cycle's gains will probably happen in the next 3 months? Now, Altcoin Daily tweeted that yesterday. If you guys happen to believe in that, let me know. I think if we get rate cuts today, if the SEC approves all these ETFs, at some point this month in October, there's a lot of bullishness. There's a lot of catalysts that could send this market into a crazy uptick. So if you believe with Altcoin Daily, let me know in the comments. And if you genuinely do believe that, then you need to be locked in, because you could potentially miss 50 to 80% of this cycle's gains in the next 3 months. That's huge. As we all know, guys, crypto moves fast. On the stream earlier this week, I broke it down how quick top blue chip altcoins of the last cycle had insane gains. It's a short amount of time, guys. So you got to be locked in. If, let's say, ETH goes from whatever it's at now, 4,500. I don't even know. What's ETH at now? 4,600. If ETH goes from, it's less than 4,500 right now. Wow. If ETH goes from 4,500 to 9,500 to $9,500, you think it's going to hang out there for a year, months? It's not going to hang out there for like 8 months, guys. It's going to be a quick move. Now, there is speculation that some people think that the 4-year cycles are completely dead. If you believe that, then I don't know what to tell you. This is what we've been anticipating. This is how people have done their technical analysis and waited for a 2025-ish, maybe Q1 2026 bull run, is based off of that technical analysis in the 4-year cycles. So if that is dead and the Bitcoin halvings no longer have any impact on price, because the insane amounts of capital that has flown into the space the past, 18 months or so from institutions, BlackRock, Strategy, etc., then things could be a lot different. Then maybe we could see numbers that could be higher and sustain and stay at those levels, as opposed to seeing insane price appreciation and then months later they drop back down over 90%. Historically, that is what we have seen. Altcoins have gone on insane rallies in previous bull markets. But however, their retracements, when they find their true value again after the euphoria dies down, a lot of these altcoins, even if you're the top positioned, blue chip altcoins, they drop down 90%-ish. Wall Street looks at that and they're like, garbage, trash, scam, etc., way too risky, whatever. But you and I, freaking idiots, see that as opportunity. Us degens are like, whoa, this is massively undervalued again. Time to buy more. Yeah, man. And that's the difference, guys. That's opportunity is in those time periods. So again, if you truly believe this from Altcoin Daily, then you got to lock in right now, because those gains could come and then they could go very quickly. All right. We're going to find some streams here live. Fed Chair, Jerome Powell speaks. We got that coming up here soon, guys. I got a CNBC television waiting, 5,000, almost 6,000 people waiting in that stream for Jerome Powell. We will be turning to that in around 15 minutes when Fed Chair Jerome Powell takes the stage. My guy, Hard Hat Powell. This was the funniest day. One of the top, listen, I don't care how you feel about the Orange Man. Bro is comical. Bro is freaking entertainment. Okay? I'm not talking policy. anything if he wasn't the president, if people didn't have a lot of feelings about him. Okay? Bro is pure entertainment. He doesn't even try. Donald Trump is entertainment. The Hard Hat Powell day, when he went to the Federal Reserve and him and Jerome Powell met, I'm sorry, but that was one of the most comical top 5 Trump moments in all of, Trump presidential history. This guy is absolutely hilarious. I mean, this day was absolutely hilarious. Like, is there really a need for him to go check out the Federal Reserve under construction, wear white hard hats, and then have the press come and cover it? I don't think it needed to happen. Bro was making jokes, patting Jerome Powell on the back. I mean, it's incredible. His negotiation skills are incredible. Now, it didn't work in the past. We saw this was late June, I believe, right? Late June when he was with Jerome Powell at the Fed building. Still under construction, right? July 24th, excuse me. So late July. Jerome didn't cut after this. People freaked out, but now it's September. Now he has another opportunity to cut. So we'll see what happened. Hard Hat Powell, what are you going to do, my guy? Look at this guy. Giving him the fresh cutty. Let's get this party started. Jerome Powell with the turntables. Getting loose. Yeah, this is what's going to happen, guys. If Jerome Powell cuts the rates, it's party time. People are going to go crazy. X is going to go crazy. People are going to have the most insane euphoric price predictions. And then things are just going to go nuts. However, I want to bring some things to your attention on this channel here at the Coinzone. If you guys don't follow us, by the way, follow us on X. If you don't sub on YouTube, that's crazy. Go sub on YouTube. Every single day during the week, I go live, guys. This isn't just today because Hard Hat Powell's taking the stage. No, I do this every day. So if you want to stay up to date with all the breaking latest news in the crypto markets, you got to subscribe to us here on YouTube or follow us on X. Moreover, we have educational videos coming out a couple times a week for you guys. So stay tuned with that. We have great interviews all the time that we do for you guys. We have a really big interview that's coming out this week with someone in the Pulse Chain community. We've done Caspa interviews in the past, Cardano interviews. We want to have you on the podcast, guys. We want to have you on the show. If you are in the SUI community, I'm trying to get somebody in the SUI community on the channel. Hit me up in the DMs, guys. Crypto with Paul. Comment on this video right now. All 200, almost 300 of you guys on live with me right now. If you're watching, if you're in the SUI community, please reach out to me. We would love to have you on the channel. If you're in the Hyperliquid community, XRP, etc., whatever it is, if you want a platform to speak about your favorite crypto, hit me up in the comments. Crypto with Paul. DM me on X. It is what it is. I appreciate you guys for tapping in. If Hard Hat Powell raises today, cuts, we're going crazy. But look, guys, we're not just here to spit euphoric stuff and get your hopes up with nothing to back it, all right? We also want to play devil's advocate and look at all angles and sides. We do investigative journalism here. That's basically how I put it, investigative journalism, right? So in doing so, we have to take a look at everything. This is from Tony the Bull. Are rate cuts bullish or bearish? Let's take a look at this chart. Every time on this red dot right here, we have gotten rate cuts. What has followed was immediately afterwards actually a downtrend before we go up. See? Down and then up. A little bit down. Well, actually, we went up here, but then down and then back up. Down, down, down. So just take that into consideration. If you think the minute Jerome Powell says, "Good afternoon, the Fed has decided to cut rates by 25 basis points." If you think a minute later things are going to go to the sky, don't get your hopes up. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I'm just saying just prepare for anything, guys. It's very easy to go on X and see influencers spitting hopium and having that influence your perspective on the whole thing. Like, oh, mom, we're about to be rich tomorrow. JP, Hard Hat Powell is going to cut the rates. Okay, let's take everything into consideration because that's the wisest thing to do. It really is. Now, what is going on with this? Many of you guys may not care. But as I like to point out on this show, if you're watching right now, I'm assuming that you are somebody who is into DeFi. I'm assuming that you are someone that doesn't really care about the S&P 500 and you're more interested in cryptocurrency. I'm assuming that you are someone who wants to get away from a TradFi system. Now, if you are getting away from that and you're in crypto, let's be nice to one another. There is a lot of tribalism in crypto, and being in this space for close to 5 years now, it's when I see this stuff, guys, it's very childish and very immature. So if you are one of these individuals that doesn't, you want to see the downfall of XRP, or you want to see Solana crash, or Cardano sucks, or whatever it may be, I implore you to zoom out and just stop being immature and stupid. Because you want to see all a rising tide raises all ships, guys. You don't want to say my coin's the best. This other coin stinks. See, I'm smart because that coin went to zero. No, guys. We want to see any innovative technology that's helping make the world better or bring power back to the people succeed. Okay? I know people feel a certain way about XRP community. 288 of you guys on stream with me right now. Odds are 290 now. Odds are at least one of you in the XRP community. Massive community. I'm not here to poop on the XRP community. Okay? People feel a certain way about it. That's fine. Especially Bitcoin maxis. I'm not going to say anything or comment anything myself. I'm just saying Charles Hoskinson trying to mend relationships and bridge gaps is the wisest thing to me. In the past, bro was maybe a little vocal and maybe a little hot-headed, had his takes about XRP, about other communities, etc. But he has turned over a new leaf, and this is this morning. Great meeting today. XRP Nation, the Ripple folks did really well, as did A16Z. So he's speaking to you directly. This is, if you don't know who Charles is, then I don't know if you live under a rock or not. But Charles is obviously the founder of Cardano, IOHK, the entity that basically founded Cardano. And it's good to see a big figure like Charles and a big figure like Brad Garlinghouse of XRP and Ripple basically come together, start to speak nice and speak highly of one another. Two of the biggest top 10 blockchains that have been in this space for 5+ years now, leading the way. Both of these individuals go to DC regularly to meet with government officials to talk about legislation. You want those individuals to be on the same team, guys. You want them to be on the same side. So again, just the tribalism is crazy. You guys got to pipe it down with that. All right. That's my 2 cents. So we have 7 minutes left until Jerome Powell speaks. Nearly 300 of you guys on stream with me right now. I appreciate you guys for tapping in. If you haven't subbed on YouTube, go do that for me. I really want to let you guys know real quick, shameless plug. Us here at the Coinzone, guys. Listen, we got a brand new video that just came out yesterday. Okay. Talked about Hawk Tuah, talked about Kanye. We talked about the scams in the market. Now, I want you guys to be safe, because if the FOMC meeting happens in 6 minutes and Jerome Powell cuts and things pump, I don't want you to be holding poop coin and get scammed out of it. Okay? Just want you guys to be careful in this space. So if you want to learn more, if you want to learn how to stay safe, go watch our last video here at the Coinzone. It's a good video. Okay? If you want to learn more about the Caspa community, we have 2 interviews, 3.4K views with Vijay, Caspa Silver. If you're in the Caspa community, you know who Caspa Silver is for sure. 2.4K views, guys. If you want to learn a bit more about Cardano, we're at 9,000 views with Angry Crypto. So we're always doing interviews for you guys here. And again, if you're watching right now and you're in the SUI community, the XRP community, Hyperliquid, whatever it might be, and you want to talk about your coin, we want to give you guys that platform and that voice. So reach out to me on X, Crypto with Paul, or just comment here, and then maybe we can have a private conversation afterwards. But I appreciate you guys for tapping in. Make sure to engage with me here. It always makes it more fun for me when you guys are commenting I'll throw your comments up at the screen. We'll have a dialogue and a discussion about whatever you want to talk about. So let's get it. We got 5 minutes left. And then our guy Hard Hat Powell's taking the stage. CNBC is the stream that we have. 4 minutes, 37 seconds left. Can't wait to get to it and listen to him. But in the meantime, guys, we had to look at all this information. All right. So again, if Jerome Powell cuts by 25 or 50 today, and immediately things start going down, you know, just patience. Okay. What I have seen after being in this space for close to 5 years, like I said, is right now, the last 2 or 3 months or so, I can tell that there are a lot of newcomers because any little piece of information, you guys are panicking, freaking out. Now, I implore you to have patience and to zoom out. If you actually want to be here for the tech and to make gains, you can't expect to do that in 2 seconds. That is never how history has worked. Now, yes, crypto is a bit of an exception. You can throw $500 on a random meme coin and potentially get lucky and make like 20 grand or something. Now, is that commonplace? No. Can it happen? Sure. Can you get lucky? Yeah, sure. In a bull market, a lot of well-positioned cryptos will go up. A lot of them will. Sure. But there's a difference between randomly throwing something at the wall, seeing what sticks, and taking a screenshot of your bags when they're up, as opposed to having an actual exit strategy and actually taking profits. If you want to learn a good way to set up an exit strategy, there is a crypto influencer who I trust wholeheartedly, and I'm going to shill him to you real quick. And that is my guy, Dan Gambardello, Crypto Capital Venture. This is a value investor. He's very smart. He has his own company. So I implore you guys to find somebody that is going to help you actually make money in this space and not shill you random projects. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on right now with Pump.fun. Alex Becker just did some things. People are claiming that he scammed them. You know, I got nothing bad or good, whatever to say about Alex Becker. He's another guy for me that's pure entertainment. His videos are hilarious. I do like his videos. And I do think he gives solid advice sometimes. But again, if you're just getting into this stuff, there will be people who can prey on your innocence, who can prey on your ignorance in this space in order to enrich themselves. I'm not saying that's Alex Becker at all. Again, I like his videos. He's funny. And he does give solid advice sometimes. But it's just up to you guys. You got to do your own research. You got to look out for yourselves because no one else is going to look out for you. And that's indicative of life too, right? So we got less than 2 minutes now, guys. 1 minute and 41 seconds left and counting and reversing. Gosh darn, I feel like it's freaking New Year's Eve. This is big, guys. Everyone on X freaking out. The biggest day in 2025. Oh my God. FOMC, Jerome Powell. We'll see you guys. Yes, sir. Well, chat, no one's been commenting. That's freaking... Really, guys? No one wants to talk to me? Am I that freaking... You guys are here with me. No one wants to chat with me? I know you guys might be driving in your car. Or just... I don't know what you're doing. Do you guys have jobs? Are we... just listening in the background? That's great. If so, I appreciate you for tapping in. But if you want to ask me questions, interact, you know, maybe now's not a good time actually because we have a minute left, less than a minute left until we're getting started here. It's time to get hyped, guys. Jerome Powell's about to take the stage. This is exciting news. I'm actually pretty excited right now. So why don't we just get ready for this, guys? JP, our guy, Hard Hat Powell, is about to take the stage. Very exciting, guys. It's starting now. Oh my God. Oh my God. Guys, get ready. Thank you for joining the stream. Jerome Powell. What's Caspa?
At ABC 15 Arizona, we tell stories.
Caspa for freedom. Okay, that's definitely... Here we are, guys. Thanks for commenting, Caspa for freedom. I appreciate you, brother. That was definitely sarcastic. Caspa to me is a revolution. Quite honestly, it's one of my favorite cryptocurrencies. We'll see what happens, guys. Jerome Powell's taking the stage. It's time to lock in. Thank you for joining. Oh my gosh, here we go. We're moments away. Moments away. Now I'm gonna get rid of this background music so we can put our full attention. I'm gonna turn this up the volume knob a little bit. Casper for freedom with the smiley. All right, guys, time to lock in. Wow, this is exciting. I genuinely feel like it's New Year's Eve right now. It's midnight. Here we go. We're all waiting. All eyes on Jerome Powell. Now I feel like I'm at a golf tournament. Everyone's quiet now. I turn the background music off. I feel like a commentator at a golf tournament. Tiger Woods, get ready to swing. I don't know, guys. Okay, this is it, guys. Here we are. Background music is coming up until Jerome Powell walks out. In the meantime, guys, if you are liking the stream here, if you think that I'm entertaining, maybe consider subscribing. That's all I'm asking from you guys. We put a lot of work in here at the Coinzone to make sure that we're giving you guys all the top information, all the best news, all the latest and breaking news. You know, we put a lot of work in on our other videos as well. So consider subscribing to the channel here because we're going live every day, 5 days a week. You know, not on the weekends, but this is what we're doing for you guys. Here we go. Oh my God, it's happening. Here we go.
Good afternoon.
Oh my God.
My colleagues and I remain squarely focused on achieving our dual mandate goals of maximum employment and stable prices for the benefit of the American people. While the unemployment rate remains low, it has edged up. Job gains have slowed and downside risks to employment have risen. At the same time, inflation has risen recently and remains somewhat elevated. In support of our goals and in light of the shift in the balance of risks, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to lower our policy interest rate by 1/4 percentage point.
Oh!
We also decided to continue to reduce our securities holdings. I'll have more to say about monetary policy after briefly reviewing economic developments.
There you have it.
Recent indicators suggest that growth of economic activity has moderated. GDP rose at a pace of around 1.5% in the first half of the year, down from 2.5% last year. The moderation in growth largely reflects a slowdown in consumer spending. In contrast, business investment in equipment and intangibles has picked up from last year's pace. Activity in the housing sector remains weak. In our summary of economic projections, the median participant projects GDP to rise 1.6% this year and 1.8% next year, a touch stronger than projected in June. In the labor market, the unemployment rate edged up to 4.3% in August, but remains little changed over the past year at a relatively low level. Payroll job gains have slowed significantly to a pace of just 29,000 per month over the past 3 months. A good part of the slowing likely reflects a decline in the growth of the labor force due to lower immigration and lower labor force participation. Even so, labor demand has softened, and the recent pace of job creation appears to be running below the break-even rate needed to hold the unemployment rate constant. In addition, wage growth has continued to moderate while still outpacing inflation. Overall, the marked slowing in both the supply of and demand for workers is unusual. In this less dynamic and somewhat softer labor market, the downside risks to employment appear to have risen. In our SEP, the median projection for the unemployment rate is 4.5% at the end of this year and edges down thereafter. Inflation has eased significantly from its highs in mid-2022, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer run goal. Estimates based on the Consumer Price Index and other data indicate that total PCE prices rose 2.7% over the 12 months ending in August, and that, excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 2.9%. These readings are higher than earlier in the year as inflation for goods has picked up. In contrast, disinflation appears to be continuing for services. Near-term measures of inflation expectations have moved up on balance over the course of this year on news about tariffs, as reflected in both market and survey-based measures. Beyond the next year or so, however, Most measures of longer-term expectations remain consistent with our 2% inflation goal. The median projection in the SEP for total PCE inflation is 3.0% this year and falls to 2.6% in 2026 and to 2.1% in 2027. Our monetary policy actions are guided by our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. At today's meeting, the committee decided to lower the target range for the federal funds rate by a quarter percentage point to 4 to 4.25%, and to continue reducing the size of our balance sheet. Changes to government policies continue to evolve, and their effects on the economy remain uncertain. Higher tariffs have begun to push up prices in some categories of goods, but their overall effects on economic activity and inflation remain to be seen. A reasonable base case is that the effects on inflation will be relatively short-lived, a one-time shift in the price level.
Short-lived?
But it is also possible that the inflationary effects could instead be more persistent, and that is a risk to be assessed and managed. Our obligation is to ensure that a one-time increase in the price level does not become an ongoing inflation problem. In the near term, risks to inflation are tilted to the upside and risks to employment to the downside, a challenging situation. When our goals are in tension like this, our framework calls for us to balance both sides of our dual mandate. With downside risks to employment having increased, the balance of risks has shifted. Accordingly, we judged it appropriate at this meeting to take another step toward a more neutral policy stance. With today's decision, we remain well positioned to respond in a timely way to potential economic developments. We will continue to determine the appropriate stance of monetary policy based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. In our SEP, FOMC participants wrote down their individual assessments of an appropriate path for the federal funds rate, based on what each participant judges to be the most likely scenario for the economy. The median participant projects that the appropriate level of the federal funds rate will be 3.6% at the end of this year, 3.4% at the end of 2026.
All right, let me just pause there real quick. So Jerome Powell just said we are going to continue to respond in a timely manner. So first off, you haven't been responding in a timely manner at all, based on like nobody's estimation. Donald Trump, the president of the United States, being the biggest example of that. You know, I'm looking at X right now. Anthony Pompliano, the Fed is cutting interest rates by 25 basis points. Another mistake. They should have done 50 basis points. So, you know, first off, I mean, I'm going to be a little bit more appreciative of that. Thank you, Jerome, for doing 25, right? But we still have more opportunities before the end of the year to get more cuts. Now, also, Federal Reserve expects 50 basis points more of rate cuts this year. So they're basically saying, look, we're not going 50 all in right now, but yes, you know, you will see more cuts later on this year. Now, if he did nothing, he would have caused billions of dollars. The fact that he only did 25, I think he's still costing us billions. However, just pointing out, Jerome, you say you're going to respond in a timely manner. Well, you've failed to do that so far in the past, 9 months or so already. So do I believe him when he says that? No, I don't. Let's get back to it.
3.1% at the end of 2027. This path is 1/4 percentage point lower than projected in June. As is always the case, these individual forecasts are subject to uncertainty, and they're not a committee plan or decision. Policy is not on a preset course. The Fed has been assigned 2 goals for monetary policy: maximum employment and stable prices. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment, bringing inflation sustainably to our 2% goal, and keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans. We understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses across the country. Everything we do is in service to our public mission, and we at the Fed will do everything we can to achieve our maximum employment and price stability goals. Thank you. I look forward to our discussion.
Great. Thank you. Chris Rugaber at Associated Press. As you know, Fed Governor Stephen Myron has kept his position at the White House, even as he's joined the Fed board. This is the first time
Crypto positive
I
guy
believe
joined the
Fed's
Fed
has had
board,
someone
guys.
with
Keep an eye on
executive
that.
branch ties in decades. Does this compromise the Fed's independence from day-to-day politics? And relatedly, how can you maintain the public's perception the Fed is politically independent with this dynamic? Thank you.
So we did welcome a new committee member today, as we always do, and the committee remains united in pursuing our dual mandate goals. We're strongly committed to maintaining our independence, and beyond that, I really don't have anything to share.
Okay, and then just as a quick follow-up, I'm sorry, can you and other Fed officials have spoken extensively about the impact of tariffs on inflation, although perhaps with many
What
companies
impact?
appearing to eat the tariffs,
There is
tariffs
none.
may
Even
be
CNBC
impacting
says
the
it.
labor
Even
market in
CNN
other
says
parts
it.
of the economy instead. Do you see that as a possible outcome here, that tariffs are the reason we're seeing some slowing, particularly in the labor market, rather than in inflation?
It's certainly possible. We're beginning to see, we have begun to see goods prices showing through into higher inflation. And actually, the increase in goods prices accounts for most of the increase in inflation, or perhaps all of the increase in inflation over the course of this year. Those are not very large effects at this point, and we do expect them to continue to build over the course of the rest of the year and into next year. And it's also possible and that there may be effects on employment, but that I would say if you're looking at why employment is doing what it's doing, that's much more about the change in immigration. So the supply of workers has obviously come way down. There's very little growth, if any, in the supply of workers. And at the same time, demand for workers has also come down quite sharply. And to the point where we see what I've called a curious balance. It's, typically when we say things are in balance, that sounds good. But in this case, the balance is because both supply and demand have come down quite sharply. Now demand coming down a little more sharply because we now see the unemployment rate edging up.
Nick Timmeros of the Wall Street Journal. Chair Powell, do economic conditions and the balance of risks no longer warrant a restrictive policy setting?
So I don't think we can say that. But what we can say is this, that over the course of this year, we've kept our policy at a restrictive level, and people have different views, but a clearly restrictive level, I would say. So, and we were able to do that over the course of this year because the labor market was in very solid condition with strong job creation and all those things. I think if you go back to April and now look at the revised job creation numbers for May, June, July, and August, I can no longer say that. So what that means is that the risks were clearly tilted toward inflation. I would say they're moving toward equality. Maybe they're not quite out of equality. We don't need to know that, but we do know that they've moved meaningfully toward greater equality, the risks between the two goals, and that suggests that we should be moving in the direction of neutral, and that's what we did today.
Under what circumstances would a larger than 25 basis points rate cut be warranted?
Good
and
question.
How seriously was that option entertained at your meeting this week?
There wasn't widespread support at all for a 50 basis point cut today. I think we've done very large rate hikes and very large rate cuts in the last 5 years, and you tend to do those at a time when you feel that policy is out of place and needs to move quickly to a new place. That's not at all what I feel certainly now. I feel like our policy has been doing the right thing so far this year. I think we were right to wait.
Well, almost nobody agrees with you, big guy.
And the labor market evolved. I think we're now reacting to the much lower level of job creation and other evidence of softening in the labor market, and saying, well, those risks are maybe not fully balanced, but moving in the direction of balance now. And so that warrants a change in policy.
Colby Smith with the New York Times. Should we be viewing today's cut as the committee taking out some insurance?
Just to pause real quick, he says almost nobody supported the 50% basis point coin. Well, Stephen Moran, the guy who just joined the board, did. He backed a 50 basis point cut. So to say that like nobody did, well, maybe like your little ring of people who are like countering whatever Donald Trump tells you to do, yeah. And again, if you actually go on X, and I'm not talking about degens like you and me, people who aren't really qualified to talk about this. Yeah, sure, we're going to want our bags to be pumped. We're going to want to see you cut rates by 50 basis points. But actual people who do this for a living, Wall Street guys, economists, etc., who aren't bought and paid for, all genuinely believe that a 50 basis point cut should have happened today. So again, guys, this isn't just random people on X upset. These are highly qualified individuals who can speak on this, who genuinely believe that he has been way too late so far this entire year, and that 50 should have came today, and we shouldn't have to get 25 now and maybe another 25 or 50 before the end of the year by January. So, I mean, we'll see, Jerome.
Against the possibility that the labor market is at risk of weakening, or is it the committee's view that the dynamics of a downturn are already in place? I guess I'm just, trying to square the shift in the rate forecast in the SEP towards more cuts than just 3 months ago, with the fact that the forecast for unemployment didn't change.
Yeah, I think you could think of this in a way as a risk management cut, because if you look at the SEP, actually, the projections for growth this year and next actually ticked up just a little bit, and inflation and unemployment didn't really move much. So what's different now? What's different now is that you see a very different picture of the risks to the labor market. You've seen, we were looking at 150,000 jobs a month at the time of the last meeting, and now we see the revisions and we see the new numbers. And I don't want to put too much emphasis on payroll job creation, but it's just one of the things that suggests that the labor market is really cooling off. And that tells you that it's time to take that into account in our policy.
So just looking at the SEP, once again, the median participant has inflation higher than previously expected by the end of next year, and the Fed not getting back to the 2% target until 2028. So I guess I'm just wondering how you characterize the risk to price pressures of kicking off a series of cuts at this point.
Yeah, so I would look at it this way. We fully understand and appreciate that we need to remain fully committed to restoring 2% inflation on a sustained basis, and we will do that. At the same time, we've got to weigh the risks to the two goals. And I would say since April, to me, the risks of higher and more persistent inflation have probably become a little less. And that's partly because the labor market has softened, GDP growth has slowed. So I would just say that the risks there have been less.
All right, guys. We heard from Hard Hat Pal. We got our news today. Now let's turn our attention back to X and take a look at some things here. What we just commented on. So we heard him say, yes. Says the Federal Reserve does not feel the need to move quick on cutting these rates. Put the background music back up here. Listen, guys, let's just read the comments here, okay? You're listening to my comments on this live stream, right? And what I think personally with Jerome Powell and what I'm seeing the sentiment online be. Now, again, you're going to see some comments here from straight degens, but it still is important to get the sentiment of everybody in all angles and sides. So, Watcher Guru, Justin, Jerome Powell says the Federal Reserve does not feel the need to move quickly on interest rate cuts. This is literally like 3 minutes ago. Look at the comments already. Jerome Powell, finger. F you guys. My bag seeing this, crying. Patience. Yes, guys. Have some patience and zoom out, like I said early. Ha. Powell channeling his inner tortoise. Quote unquote, slow and steady wins the race, or at least keeps inflation from sprinting away. Smart play in a shaky economy. Better measured cuts than a panic / that backfires. So this guy is in favor, agrees with Jerome Powell. Okay, Thomas Sowell, a lot of interesting quotes here. Okay, translation, Powell basically saying, don't hold your breath. Markets wanted fast cuts. Instead, they're getting slow torture. Yeah. Bitcoin loves liquidity, not bedtime stories. Delay equals more pain before the real pump. Jerome Powell, good after the markets go crazy. So, I mean, here we go, guys. Maybe this could be a good thing, right? Let's be positive. Why could this be a good thing? Well, it might give you a little bit more time and opportunity to invest a little bit more, or to just invest in general if you're just getting into this space before things actually go parabolic, if you still believe that's going to happen. Some people think that the tops are in already and we're going to go enter a bear market already. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Very curious to see what you guys think. Now we're almost 50 minutes into this stream. It's almost been an hour. We got our answer from Jerome Powell. A 25 basis point cut just took place today on Wednesday, hump day, September 17th. Now the markets, if you want to check that out real quick, we're looking at Coinbase. Nothing's happening, guys. Nothing is happening. The markets have not responded at all. In fact, everything is basically red. So again, I showed you guys that chart in the beginning of the stream. Previous times rates were cut, we actually saw a dip in the markets before things went crazy. Possibly a buy the rumor, sell the news event. You know, there's probably traders taking advantage of this opportunity to maybe liquidate some things, take advantage of people throwing their money in. I don't know. But everything is down right now. You would expect, maybe, I'm curious to see what this would look like if there was a 50 basis point cut. We didn't get that. Okay. Everything is basically red, guys. Kind of crazy. So it is what it is. You guys got your answers. I appreciate you guys for tapping in, all 340 of you. Caspa for Freedom. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, bud. If you haven't watched our interviews with Vijay and Caspa Silver, go check those out. Make sure to share them for us. That's it. We'll stay tuned. I'll be back tomorrow to take a look at the markets to see if anything ticks up, if we're in the green again. On the week, we saw Bitcoin is up 3%, ETH is up 2%. Nothing crazy. Normal activity here. Basically seems like there wasn't even an FOMC meeting today. The markets might have priced this in already as people speculated a 25 basis point cut. People speculated the market's already priced it in. If it was 50, maybe that would have been different. But we heard from Hard Hat Powell. We got our 25. We're going to have to wait until October, November, and December to see if they're going to cut again before the end of the year. Goldman Sachs thinks that that will happen. So does other individuals. Yeah, going to be interesting. If you guys haven't subbed yet and you're watching with me now, make sure to sub to the channel, because in the future, the next FOMC meetings, we're going to be doing the same thing. I'm going to be covering it live. All important stuff like this, I'm going to be covering live all the time, guys. Tomorrow, Friday, next week, whatever it is, I'm covering it. So now's the time to lock in. If you don't want to miss generational gains like Altcoin Daily thinks that we might see very soon, again, if we just turn our attention back to Altcoin Daily, why don't we just end here, right? Just end here. If you guys want to lock in, this is your time to lock in, okay? Altcoin Daily thinks 50 to 80% of this crypto cycle's gains will probably happen within the next 3 months. So, Discover Crypto seems to agree. So, lock in, guys. If you haven't subbed here already, do that for me, because we're going to ensure that you guys are well positioned for this, okay? I appreciate you guys for tapping in. Go watch our latest videos on YouTube. You guys know this is the Coinzone, another live. I'm Crypto with Paul. And one last time before I exit, guys, I'm telling you, if you want a platform to speak about your favorite cryptocurrency, we want to have you on. If you're in the SUI community, we want to have you on. If you're in the Solana community, XRP, whatever it might be, Tron, Hyperliquid, please reach out to me in the DMs. We can have a private conversation and maybe set something up. But we want to have you on. We want to give you guys a platform and a voice. So make sure to sub to the channel if you haven't already. Follow us on X. This is the Coinzone. I appreciate you guys for tapping in for another live stream. I'm Crypto with Paul. See you guys next time.